Warning, the following video contains massive spoilers for one of the greatest video game trilogies of all time. Please turn away now if you do not wish to learn these spoilers. No matter what anyone says, I love the Prime series. To me, it's even better than Halo and COD combined. It's an amazing single-player adventure game with fantastic controls, great storylines, and a stupendously good soundtrack. But it also has some badass boss fights, and those fights are what this video is all about. Similar to the Altar of Flames, Top 25 No More Heroes, and Top 13 Mad World bosses, I'm going to say what I think of every boss in the trilogy, going from my least favorite all the way to my favorite boss in the trilogy. So let's get to the awesomeness. Everybody knows that flamethrowers are the best, but a robot with 2 flamethrowers for arms? Delicious promise, but in vain. The Incinerator drone from Prime is a complete letdown. It's just an advanced garbage disposal unit with the capabilities to fight if necessary. Why would the Kozo program this thing to fight? What dangers could this thing possibly come across? This drone's flamethrowers are slow and predictable. Occasionally this little red sensor will pop out. When it does, blast it full of whatever you got. Each time you hit its sensor, it will aim its flamethrowers upwards and agitate a bunch of wasps to attack you. Relic imagery, anyone? This battle sucks, but at least the reward at the end of the fight is satisfying as hell. One thing I've noticed is that most of the bosses in Prime 2 are just stronger versions of normal enemies. Not saying that's a bad thing on some occasions. For example, the Dark Alpha Splinter. This boss is just bland and uninteresting. Its only attacks are to either leap at you or spit stuff at you, but be careful. These attacks can do a good bit of damage if you're not careful. Also, there was a short battle royale against a bunch of splinters before the Dark Alpha Splinter, so just hope you didn't take too much damage. Also, all you get from winning is the energy controller, which, except from retrieving the planetary energy of Aether, does absolutely nothing. I may not speak for everyone, but I goddamn hate the Steamlords. They hide in the background and send their steam bots to attack you. Yeah, what a pussy. While you destroy the steam bots, the Steamlord will appear and revive them. While he's reviving them is the only time you can attack him. And once you hit him, he'll disappear, and the whole process repeats. And the worst thing is, they become common! The Powerbomb Guardian is the ultimate cheap ass. All it does is throw power bombs at you, which, we all should know now, have a huge blast radius and can do large amounts of damage. To beat this guy, you have to use the Spartable tracks around the arena to reach the 4 bomb slots on the sides of the wall, and the whole time the Guardian is throwing bombs at you, which can knock you off the wall. Once all 4 bomb slots are activated, the Guardian will be crushed and you receive the power bombs. The Hive Mecha was a pretty good concept, but it was just frustrating. The Mecha will shoot war wasps at you that will circle you several times and then charge. You have to shoot the wasps down, and once all the wasps are gone, the Mecha will open up. When it does, blast it with all you got. After taking enough damage, it will rotate and launch more wasps. Do this 4 times, and you're done and dusted. This boss really isn't that fun, but by beating it, you get the massively awesome missile launcher. If you want a little torture in your gaming, the Boost Guardian is a perfect example. First of all, there are no safe zones in this arena, so whether you're getting hit or not, you will lose health. Plus, he has the boost ball, so he can zoom around the arena, becoming invincible and damaging you. He's only vulnerable when he's solid, so you gotta be quick to deal damage to him. And after you beat him, you get the boost ball. In Metroid Prime, before getting the wave beam, you have to endure a battle royale with a bunch of baby she-goths. And when you think it's all over, holy shit! That thing is huge! The she-goth is the supreme predator of the Phendrana Drifts. And it shows. This guy absorbs your beam attacks and shoots them back at you. This looks cool, but what kills it is that after using its ice beam, it hyperventilates, allowing you to plow into it with your missiles, making it way too easy. Fun fact, the Alpha Blogg is the only underwater boss in the trilogy. You know that Jaws reference I made a few seconds ago? I believe it's correct. Bloggs are the Metroid equivalent of sharks. But is the fight really that good? Yeah. Next. This boss is pure annoyance. The Korakk are the mounts of the space pirates, but actually, the mounts are harder to kill than the riders. The fight process is like this. Shoot the mouth when it's open, get under him and bomb him when he is stunned, grapple his tail and flip him up, and then blast his underbelly when he's up. First time I fought at him, it took me a while to figure that out. Now here is a boss that reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors. Flagra is a pretty good idea. It's a plant who has gone through an accelerated growth pattern to become a huge sentient plant. But because of this, Flagra needs constant exposure to sunlight. So you beat it by knocking out his sun lamps, getting to the bomb slots underneath him, and setting him alight. This fight isn't that good, but its concept and reward makes it worthwhile. Now, let's talk about the main antagonist of the trilogy, Metroid Prime, or, as she's most commonly known, Dark Samus. Metroid Prime is a Phazon-infused Metroid, polluting the planet of Talon 4, who, after defeat, rips off your Phazon suit and reforms her body to form Dark Samus. In the entire series, you have to fight her 6 times, and most of them are awesome, but some aren't as good as others. For example, the final fight of Prime 2. This fight is mediocre compared to the others. First, there's the music. It's okay, but it's not her theme, so not as good. Second, there's only one new thing in this fight. She surrounds herself in a huge orb of Phazon, making her immune to all weapons. She can only be hit by absorbing her own attacks and shooting them back at her. And the worst thing is, there's a goddamn time limit! Well, in all honesty, this fight is okay, but it's a complete letdown compared to the fight before her. I'll get to that later. When I first saw this guy, I actually had high hopes for the fight. But then I realized that he's just a big pile of rocks. Thardus has a long and repetitive fight. It's alright, but it gets a bit boring. You end up having to switch visors over and over to find his weak point and hitting it over and over. His attacks are slow and predictable, so in conclusion, it's a good boss, just not executed as well as it could have been. Metroid hatchers are annoying little bastards. There are 3 of these in the whole game. First one is the most annoying to fight, because you have to do the long, boring process. But the other 2 are easier because by then, you have the X-ray visor and Nova Beam, and with them, you can make like Luke Skywalker and get the one true shot to pwn their ass. Yeah! This boss might be a strange choice for 25, but I like him for some strange reason. The Jump Guardian is basically an uber-elite warrior ing powered by the space jump boots. They allow it to leap huge distances and create huge shockwaves to damage you. I guess I like this boss because the space jump boots are frickin' awesome. Oh well, I'll let you figure it out. Robots that are awesome. GLaDOS, R2-D2, HK-47,
The Terminator.
Defense drone? Yep. The defense drone sucks. He prevents you from getting boost ball by making it go through a chute and forcing you to fight him. His attacks are quite damaging and some can knock you out of hyper mode. He's only vulnerable when you have attacked and broke his 3 sensors. This fight is annoying, but it is a notable fight. Along with the Boost Guardian, this one is known for its high torture. The Spider Guardian is fought entirely in Morph Ball, which is a little bit strange. After bombing it a few times, a bomb slot will appear. When you activate it, a new path will open and cause the Guardian to run into a small electrical generator. This takes place over a few rounds of puzzles, and overall the fight is just one big puzzle, and that's why it's number 23. Because I like puzzles. Deal with it. Amorbis is huge, and they sure have a lot of room to move around. This is pretty impressive for the first Temple Guardian, but honestly it isn't that great. Most of the time, Amorbis will leap around the arena blindly, trying to crush you. You have to break its armor while it's leaping around. Once the armor's off, Amorbis will latch onto the dark orb in the center of the arena and become Dark Amorbis. Ooh, what a very intimidating and creative name!
Can you sense the sarcasm there? Because I meant it.
Anyway, same system as before, but Amorbis has a few new attacks. After you knock off the armor again, Amorbis will start inhaling. When this happens, go into Morph Ball and bomb his mouth. But remember, there are 3 of them. Now, I'll be fair. This boss isn't too bad, but look. This is how they choose to end the Prime Trilogy? What were they thinking? The Aurora unit is an organic supercomputer corrupted by Phazon and fused with Dark Samus. I was really expecting like a super-powered Dark Samus, or when they combine they turn into this big cyborg thing, but at least something with imagination! Well, the fight is okay, but definitely not good enough to end the trilogy. End of story. Mogenar leaves so little room for you to attack. After you spend a bit of time shooting all his balls, their shell will break, revealing a Phazon core. Switch to Hyper Mode to plow into it and shatter the core. There are 4 balls on his body, but he will try to grab more from the side. Luckily, everything he throws at you drops health and ammo, but this takes forever!